What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Backup Fantasy Sports. It is Friday, November 24th. My name is Ewan, and on tonight's episode, we are going to be getting into some Fantasy Premier League with a better late than never Game Week 13 preview. Hopefully, it is not unlucky for you, but because there is not a lot of time before the deadline, about 16 hours here. So we're going to get right into it with the preview. Slight review of my game week in game week 12. It was a couple of weeks ago now with the international break. 85 points here. Captained Ollie Watkins. I had 2 free transfers and I used them. Solanke to Evan Ferguson and Dan Burn to Gabriel. You can imagine how that went with getting Solanke out right before he hauled 2 goals against Newcastle. Did not see that coming. But Tsimikas was the hero here. Saka with an assist. Salah was great. Holland was great. I went off the book with the Watkins captaincy, and he got returned, but it was not as good as I would have hoped it to be. Captaining Salah or Holland, I would have been right up there with about 95 points, but still about a 400,000 place green arrow to get up to 644,000 in the world. So I won't complain too much, but that was my game week 12 review. Looking ahead to game week 13 quickly here, we've got the big one on Saturday, starting right off Man City, Liverpool, 12:30 UK time. Never back the early kickoff, said FPL Gandhi. We are going to see as the 2 most popular players in the game, the 2 best players in the game, Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, they go head to head off an international break and an early kickoff. Oh man, it is going to be one to watch. I'm not sure who I'm going to captain yet this week. I am leaning towards a player not in this game. We will see if that sticks around come the deadline tomorrow morning. But the rest schedule here is Burnley, West Ham, Luton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and Sheffield United. Bournemouth in the Saturday 3 o'clock games, then Brentford, Arsenal, Saturday 5:30 p.m., Spurs, Aston Villa, Everton, Man United on Sunday, and then Fulham versus Wolves to wrap up Monday night footballs. So I have Liverpool down there, but that is Wolves, I promise. Yes, lots of interesting games going all around this weekend. So plenty of football to watch. Should be a good weekend. Looking here at the fixture ticker. Now, I'm going to get into this in the next section here, but the fixture ticker has been extended this week because Christmas is about to be crazy. We're about to get into the festive period with a ton of game weeks. But over the next about from now until game week 20 at the end of the year, we've got the 5 best teams here are Bournemouth, Burnley, Wolves, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. And then the worst teams are Aston Villa, Luton, Brentford, Man City, and Everton. Brentford and Man City do jump up from 18th and 17th in the schedule to 10th and 11th if you just go over the next 5 weeks. But because they have a blank in game week 18, thanks to Man City being in the World Club Cup or whatever they're calling it right now, those teams do have a blank. So that's going to hold them down in the fixture ticker for quite a while or until that blank goes away. And it's actually going to get heavier towards weighting them as the weeks draw closer. But just looking here at the top 5 best teams, Bournemouth, Burnley, Wolves, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth, Dominic Solanke, oh, how you torture me. I took you in on my game week 8 wild card. You got me 1 return in 4 weeks. I was like, Newcastle, time to go. 2 goals. And now he's got Sheffield United. Poor planning by me, possibly. Will I live to regret it? Yes. Am I going to rectify my mistake and bring Dominic Solanke back in? I'm not sure. I don't think I can do it. I really want to roll the transfer this week. We will see. Sheffield United is one of the best fixtures at home. Or, I mean, they're even on the road there. So, but still a good fixture. I brought in Evan Ferguson because he had Sheffield United at home thinking that would be great. And then he randomly had a back injury. So that tells you how FPL could have gone a lot better, but still got the green arrow in game week 12. We move on. Am I going to move on from Evan Ferguson that fast? I do not know. Lots to kind of break down here. Going into the festive period, there is so much that we need to keep track of as FPL managers. And this is kind of going to separate the youths from the adults when it comes to FPL. Because if you can keep track of this, if you can manage this period of the season quite well, you are going to come out ahead. You will be in a better spot than you are now. So those with the of you outside the top 500K, outside the top million, outside the top 2 million, maybe, if you stay patient, use your transfers wisely, and stick to the schedule, know when your lock times are, know when you need to make your decisions by, you are going to be good to go by the time 2024 rolls around. You will be in a way better spot than you are right now. As you can see here, I think FPL, the official FPL Twitter account, tweeted out 8 game weeks over the next 42 days. I just have them here through the end of the season. January is actually going to be quite slow thanks to AFCON, the Asia Cup, and kind of the winter break, especially with the FA Cup as well. So we're starting tomorrow, game week 13, Saturday, November 25th, 11 a.m. Saturday is a regular time, but then we go into the midweeks with a Tuesday deadline, following by a quick Saturday deadline, then a Friday deadline, and then I believe from what I've heard, the first ever Thursday deadline in FPL on December 21st at 6:30 p.m. UK time. Then there's another midweek deadline with Tuesday at 11 a.m. And then the final one is Saturday, December 30th at 11 a.m. So plenty to keep track of. So take a screenshot of this. I think you can even sync the game time locks to your calendar. Do not forget these dates, and you will be a-okay by the time 2024 rolls around. Lots to break down from the international break as well. I haven't been able to update this graphic too much from the press conferences, but from what I know, it does sound like Jared Bowen is not going to play in game week 13. There's been a in the know West Ham account that says there's fluid in the knee and probably not going to play this week. I haven't had a chance to kind of go through all the press conferences yet and see what's going to go down there. But here are some of the other names that kind of picked up a knock or something suspicious over the international break. So Erling Haaland left the Norway squad with an ankle injury, but he sounds like he's going to play. The Norway manager said that if the game against Scotland had anything on the line for it, Haaland would have played. So that sounds very encouraging. Jared Bowen, we just talked about with the knee. Kaoru Mitoma, he was a journalist for The Athletic said that he would not expect Mitoma to play this weekend, but then he was seen jogging in Brighton's or on their social media earlier this week. Evan Ferguson picked up a hamstring injury. Unknown if he's going to play. Kieran Trippier left the England side because of personal issues. Unknown if he's going to play. Andre Onana picked up a shoulder injury with Cameroon, likely to play. Callum Wilson has a hamstring injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. And Sung Heung-min has a nagging foot injury, but he said he's going to play. He just wanted to help South Korea with the World Cup. They're trying to qualify for the World Cup, so he's trying to help out his country as best as he can, and that's why he's so happy in the middle of this graphic. But definitely check out all the press conferences. Fantasy Football Scout does a great rundown. Lazy FPL, their newsletter, that will be fantastic to read about as well with all the press conferences. And FPL General does a press conference wrap-up podcast that I always listen to before the game weeks if I can. Cap me if you can this week. There's tons of options. I know a lot of people will be going kind of Haaland or Salah, but Salah plays for my favorite team. I'm not going to captain Haaland against Liverpool. I just can't do that. I want to do well in FPL. I really want to be the best manager I possibly can be, but I'm not going to captain someone against my own team. That's not happening. So Sung Heung-min has Aston Villa at home. They are 7th in expected goals allowed this season, but the high line narrative has been getting tossed around this week. They're saying that the defenders might be playing 10 yards apart because Aston Villa and Spurs play such a high line that there could be plenty of attacking threat in there. That's why Ollie Watkins is also on here against Tottenham, who have the 11th best expected goals allowed rank. Haaland plays Liverpool at home, early kickoff. Saka against Brentford. Gabriel Jesus sounds like he might be back. Martin Odegaard hopefully will return from the concussion he suffered a few weeks ago. Saka hasn't really been firing on all cylinders, but he's on penalties. He's on corners. worth a go, but I was looking at it today. Arsenal kind of just trying to get out of their away games right now with scrappy 1-0 wins. They are the best defense for expected goals allowed on the road, but they're also like middle of the pack in the attacking sense. So they don't really destroy people like they do at home, unfortunately. So that might put people off going with Saka. Salah against Man City, he has returned in the last 6 games against Man City, I believe, but they are the second best for expected goals allowed. And then Bowen down here, this is before the injury news that came out, 3.89 predicted points, but against Burnley, very tasty fixture, 15th for expected goals allowed this season. Right now, I am leaning Ollie Watkins just because Spurs are pretty depleted at the back. Sung Min without James Madison is a little scary. Holland versus Salah is scary. Still not sure I trust Saka with it. So Watkins might get a chance to redeem himself after the game week 12, where he fell short of Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah's output in those games. Here is my current squad, kind of my bus squad. I don't really like it all that much. How did we end up here? I kind of like logged into the app for the first time a couple of days ago after taking a nice little break from FPL, kind of resetting. And I was like, "Ew, I don't like this squad at all." But if Jared Bowen doesn't play, Ward Prowse could be kind of talismanic for West Ham, which I do not mind at all. Ollie Watkins has the captaincy here. I think I'm going to stick with that. I feel pretty good about it. I like my reasoning. Holland is probably going to score against Liverpool. Salah is probably going to assist against Man City, so that's fine. But Watkins against Tottenham, I think that's going to be quite a good free flowing game. Get one of the later players in the game week, so that's always nice as well. Matty Cash gets to survive another week. Simicast may play against Man City, to be determined there. Maybe some early team news. Gabriel on the road. Areola. Yeah, I'm really just looking to roll this week, kind of just try to survive game week 13 and advance to game week 14 with 2 free transfers. Try to reset the squad. I'll get some more information about Sung Min if he looks good without James Madison, then he will stay. But if not, he might be on the chopping block as well. I really want to get like a Cole Palmer or an Anthony Gordon in here to replace my third bench guy, because with these festive fixtures coming up, I do not want to be riding on 1 or 2 bench players. You kind of want a full squad for this stretch of games coming up in FPL. FPL review, I went through their little algorithms, asked what they thought I should do, and option 1, roll. So we're simpatico there. Option 2 was Evan Ferguson to DCL, and option 3 was Cash to Kilman. Don't really want to do a defensive transfer this week with my only transfer. Ferguson to DCL is tempting, but Everton play Man United, so I'm not a huge fan of that. So I think roll is sensible. FF Hub also recommends that I just kind of roll my free transfer, but Ward Prowse to Anthony Gordon is also something I could look to do. As you can probably see, there's a little bit of a new layout here for this game week preview. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Really appreciate any feedback, trying to grow the channel as F1 Fantasy is winding down this weekend, final race of the season. So FPL will be my sole content creating for the next few months. Definitely diving in deeper there, maybe churn out some more videos during the week. You can follow me on X at UN or You Out. You can follow me on TikTok at UN or You Out, as I'm trying to post instant reactions to each game week there. But good luck in game week 13. Hopefully it is not unlucky for you. Hopefully it's not unlucky for me. Lots to decide. Look for some early transfer news for Man City Liverpool before the deadline. But once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time.